Welcome to another live episode of Halftime Adjustments. Your host, Eddie Arnell, my man G Whit, Mr. J. Lou. What's going on, gentlemen?
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up. Week 8, 2024. 2000. I'm sorry. Tennessee Titans. They got me all thrown off. Fire sale this week, fellas. I mean, what was going to be left after the team took the field this week after what went through? I mean, basically, the team's not good. And the ironic thing about it, here's the ironic thing about it. If you want to have a silver line, the defense is still going to be first statistically. I told y'all. It's crazy to me. After you get 52 points, you still only give up 225 yards offense. And I'm going to go ahead and say it, put it out there. The Mason Rudolph experiment over Levis, I don't think you just pick your poison. Which one you want? Because it don't matter.
Yeah, the ones that make a difference.
It don't matter at this point. And so, fellas, I'm gonna change it up a little bit tonight. We're gonna start on the special teams. We're gonna talk about special teams first. I'm gonna start with J. Lou because his boy. J. Lou, Colts, Craig. Is there any difference at this point?
Nah, man. We used to joke all the time that the Titans had to go away from a coach named Mike. They need to go away from special teams coaches whose initials are C and A. Colt Anderson, Craig Aukerman. I mean, they're one and the same. How do you get beat by a team? I'm be honest. This was the Khalif Raymond revenge game. Yeah. He should have had 3 returns for touchdown. And again, if you've been listening to the show, we said it when the 53 was announced that the way this roster was constructed, special teams was going to be an opportunity when you look at speed and the players on the special teams. Mm-hmm. Trey Avery, oh my Lord. He got shook out of his shoes twice. He broke down to make a tackle, and I don't know what he was doing. And part of that is on you put some of that on the players, and then you put a lot of it on coaching. Because at this point, why hasn't anybody just told Stonehouse, hey, just punt it out of bounds? We know you got a strong leg. Let's work on diagonally punting it out of bounds or point it diagonally. I mean, go back and look at the return, the one that wasn't a touchdown, the one that was close, because it was almost a replica of the touchdown one.
Both were the same.
Look how much room was on the opposite side of the field because of how we kicked it, and how nobody was in lane coverage. And then the kickoff, you're in a dome. There is no wind. You might as well just give them the ball at the 30, but yet we pooch kick and nobody was in lane. Nobody had anything to do on the kickoff. And again, we've said it, the kickoff is like a run play. You catch 1 or 2 creases and you're gone. But special teams, Colt should have found his own way home today. Because it's I mean, and again, I don't know how much of a difference it makes when you're 1-6, but you've got to be willing to show that you're willing to do something. And, that's the one thing we harped on the previous coaching staff for, that we waited to the end of the season to make changes. Now, again, Craig's was because your punter got his leg tore off. Maybe, just maybe, getting beat by giving up more return yards than they had offensive yards can cause somebody to lose their job over there. But, yeah, this special teams, as you pointed out at the beginning, Ed, it's just a bad football team all around, and special teams is a part of that badness.
You know what? And I'm going to come to you, G, with, we don't talk about enough. Yeah, Stonehouse can boom the ball, but he can't corner kick. He doesn't, you know what I'm saying? He's not good at placing the ball in the corner. And so, we give him a pass because he kicks it so far. But when you don't have speed out there and you got to kick your coverage, you see the results. But G, go ahead, man.
Well, let's just be honest about Stonehouse. The biggest problem you have is not so much him out kicking the coverage. It's just the fact that he has no hang time. I mean, it's just none. I'm like, good grief. I mean, but that's one reason why you out kick your coverage. You have no hang time. You're kicking it a mile, but with no hang time, you giving the return man plenty of options on what to do. So you saw Khalif Raymond, man. He just made a couple of guys miss, and it was like there was nobody there. Next thing you know, you seen the number 4 running behind them trying to play catch up or getting blocked or whatever. The biggest problem, I think, J. Lou, you hit on it, is that there is no lane coverage whatsoever. Everybody's getting out of their lanes. Everybody's losing their discipline. And let's be real about it. Special teams has been a problem the whole season. I mean, I have to agree with Callahan. He's like, we're in a pick your. He was basically saying it without saying you're in a pick your poison type of mode because he was like we're keeping extra people in to help block because we wasn't blocking well at the beginning of the season, and now we're not covering well also. So it's he's in a, and I think it goes back to what you said, Jay Lewis. It's like you got a coaching issue, really, and I'll say this: you probably got a personnel issue too because they obviously don't have any good gunners on that team as far as trying to get down the field and everything. And we've been talking about that all season as well. So it's like you said, Ed, it's just a bad team all the way around. Like I texted somebody, I told him, I said, look, that dark cloud is hanging over the Titans, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, and we're just not going to get out of the storm, at least not this season. This is just a bad team all the way around.
All the way around. I mean, angles, position, that's a lot to do with how they're being coached. But anyway, so let's go on to talk about the defense because I think it was pretty evident today that there's some things going on defense too. Now, you give the opposing offense the ball 5 times inside your own red zone or inside the 30. That's hard to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, that's hard to stop when you keep giving them possessions inside and they don't have to drive for 30 yards to get points. Whether it's 3 or whether it's 7. So, and the defense, they tried to stop the bleeding. They just couldn't do it. And sometimes it looked pretty bad angles, with bad overrunning the play. And you really didn't see Big Jeff start balling until they made him mad. They teed him off a little bit. Then you start seeing him again because he got blocked. That first touchdown run by Montgomery, he was 5 yards. He was in the end zone. Yeah, and I've never seen him get blocked like that.
Yeah, he got put into the stands.
Gee whiz, man, talk about this defense today. Like I said, still statistically number one. But man, you can only do so much at some time. But they had their own faults too. But go ahead.
Yeah, they had their own faults too. But you hit the nail on the head when you having to play inside your 30 against a really efficient offense. There's very little that the defense can do. It's hard for. I would say this: it's hard for a good defense to stop that. I mean, what was it? 5 times. They didn't even have to drive the length of the field. They were inside plus territory.
They started 5 drives inside the 20-yard line. But, you may be able to slow them down a little bit, but it was always something. I mean, let's just be real about it. We're in a state with this defense where actually you can see the frustration in their play.
Oh yeah,
you can just see the frustration in their play. You let Ernest Jones go, and the guy you brought in, you can't play him, and you're playing Gibby, and you could tell the difference in the linebackers once he was in there. Slow reaction times, getting blocked very easily, not able to shed blocks or anything like that, slow to read. So that was part of a problem as well. But overall, man, it is, like I said, it's just a dark cloud over the franchise, and I don't know when it's going to be lifted, and I don't know what it's going to take to have it lifted. We're in quarterback purgatory. We got a dark cloud over us. We can't seem to do anything right. It's just one of those things, man. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
J. Lou, man, like I said, it's just 225 yards of total defense today. 3 for 9 on third down. If I gave you those stats, you'd have like, man, this team played good today. 4 sacks. Arden Key, again, I know we give him a hard time, but he had 2 sacks today, giving him 3 for the year, man. But he said he's just putting stuff on his resume.
He's trying to get traded out this week. But yeah, I mean, the defense, man, and again, I said it when we was texting back and forth. Now, you liked how they responded because after the first pick, you're like, okay, here we go again. And the defense came out after they scored and, made the stop and look good. And we went down and scored and got it tied up at 14. But when you getting it at the 20-yard line each time and going short drives, that's just ridiculous. I don't know. Run game, we saw both running backs hit us. And to your point, you said earlier, Ed, about bad angles. I don't know what was wrong with Amani Hooker today. But
Man.
he was taking several bad angles. He was taking what we call it all the time, the eye candy. The eye candy fooled them on every touchdown that they created down in the red zone with just doing motions of faking the run, and you had tight ends and people running wide open and in the end zone. So it's I don't know what to say about the defense. I am curious because you heard them say that Baker, part of it was him getting acclimated. And I'm assuming it's easier to go from central time zone to West Coast because whatchamacallit show play today was leading the Seahawks in tackles at halftime. The guy who what's his name? Ernest Jones. But Baker was a healthy scratch. So that kind of shocked me too, G, because we saw everybody who loves Gibby. Yes, he's a smart football player, etc. Gibby was the main reason that you was getting punt blocks during the beginning of the season, and he is definitely a liability if he has to play every single down, and we saw that today. And then again, Big Jeff, it'd be interesting. Let's see how long they keep him active. Because they're not trading him. Yeah, the elbow. They're not trading him, and I wonder how much it's. And again, each sport is different. So Tommy John for baseball, that shuts you down for a year to have the surgery, etc.
Right.
For football, you ain't throwing and doing all that. But how much of that are you losing from a strength standpoint? Because it was a lot of times he was just trying to do one arm tackles. Or to your point, he was getting blown off the ball like he just wasn't using his strength that we're used to seeing.
Right.
So it'd be interesting as the season continues to unfold, and if it goes in the trend that I think it's going to go. I wonder if you start seeing some players get shut down. I mean, I think of somebody like a Snead right now. We literally heard about a quad bruise, and we've missed 2 weeks now on a quad bruise. So
they said the MRI showed it was worse than what.
So they did the MRI show that, or we just said, you know what, we might protect some of these investments that we have for another season when you see it going the way it's going. But again, I think the best thing we can hope for is that the Titans record keeps Denard around, because I still think if I just look at coordinators, and I know Callahan's the head coach, but if I look at coordinators, so that's Callahan and his offense and Denard, I think you've seen Denard adapt a lot more and continue to adjust better than we're seeing on the offensive side. And again, I get it.
Absolutely.
Offense starts with quarterback, et cetera, but a lot of that can go with play calling to kind of help that. But I think you started to see the coach that everybody thought Denard was, and you just hope that he can stick around at least one more year.
Right. Will he stick around during the rebuild?
If you want to stick around for another season.
Right.
I think, I think to your point, he's done an outstanding job considering, he's got a rookie at cornerback right now. He's got Baker playing. He's mostly a special teams guy, and this is what he's been doing with, and then the linebackers. What we've had some issues there, and so he's done a great job calling his defense, put them in position to win, and that's all you want, man. You want your coaches to put the players in position so they can succeed, and he's done that very well. Like I said, man, the stats are it's just crazy.
Man.
Look at the stats of this game, knowing that you only gave up 225 yards on defense, 61 passing. That's minus the sack yardage, because he had 85 yards, and Nathan mentioned that in the chat. On 12 and 15, he had 3 touchdown passes. So here's the thing. So when you get into this spot where you're losing like this and you're trying to make stuff happen, you just start not doing your job. And so you saw a lot of open people today. Not Khalif Raymond, but what's the receiver?
St. Brown.
St. Brown wide open on the play action. Do your job. That's all they ask. But everybody's trying their best to make a play that you
start pressing.
Yeah, you press it really hard, right? And so you start seeing people wide open. But man, it is what it is. It's this bad. I don't know if they even beat New England this week coming up.
That's what I said.
And so I don't know, man. We'll see, man. Let's flip over to the offense. 416 yards offense. Come on, man.
Yeah, but 14 points.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The stats are just mind-boggling. 258 passing, 158 yards rushing. Calvin really had his career day for the Titans with 10 for 143.
So it's on me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you go ahead.
So this is where the fan in me wants to give just a little bit of grace.
Go ahead.
How many yards did you say that offense put up for over 400?
416. Guess what?
And again, that's not if you actually watch the game.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of garbage time yards.
No.
So that goes to say what we've been saying a lot. There was one play, the 33-yarder to Wiley.
Mm-hmm.
Go back if you get a chance to look at the all 22 of that particular play and see how wide open the play schemed him open. There was another one where Tyler Boyd was open and he didn't go to him. He went another route.
Yep.
But it just goes and again, it goes back to what I said about Callahan. I'm okay if you want to install your offensive system. Maybe let somebody else call the plays.
Right.
You can really manage total box as the head coach because his scheme is getting folks open. We talked about as much as it is the run. Like this is still a run first team. It's a different running scheme than what we had when Tutu was back there. But 158 yards. Pollard is playing very solid. Yeah. Coming out of the backfield, whether that be catching or running, and the run blocking is what this offensive line does best. So I think that's the one silver lining that you look at when you look at the offenses. You start to see some things that if you had, I don't even want to say competent, just average quarterback play. Because if you had average quarterback play, if you had two things you need on this offense. Average quarterback play and competent play from the right tackle, the right side, which again, if you look at that pick, he had 5 seconds to throw
I would
the
say
ball.
they ain't play bad today.
He had time, but he just didn't trust the pocket. So if we can get some average quarterback play, I think you could see this. You can see there's inklings of what this scheme is. But I mean, to G Witt's point, you put up all them points and you shoot yourself in the foot. What was it? 4 turnovers?
4. Yep.
2 fumbles and 2 interceptions.
Yep.
That is a recipe for disaster every single time. And I will, as much as I just gave Callahan a little praise, and I just saw it in the game, the Washington game, where coaches out-coached themselves. We never ran the ball from the 1-yard line, and we were in shotgun every single time. And you had one timeout. That I don't understand. I will give you throwing the ball on first down. I'll give you that. Maybe catch him because they expect you to run.
Right.
When you do it 3 more times in a row,
shotgun.
That's a problem. It's shotgun. So that's the one time where, again, I say he's got to let somebody else call the plays and you put your input in if you want to override something. But that's one where that had me scratching my head because you took, again, we said it the previous week with the 4th down call, you took momentum away from the team right there because at that point in time, it's a 2-score game from 3-score game.
Yeah, 3-score game.
But 35-14.
Yeah, they got the ball back.
But you got the ball back. So you could have doubled back. You could have 7-7, but you took that away by getting stopped on the 1-yard line. But again, overall, I thought you saw some things in the offensive scheme that can work. You just got to have the players to execute. And
we've seen it all season that the scheme is good. We just the right tackle and the quarterback just don't make it work too well. So, and I didn't like his explanation of why he threw the ball 4 times down there. He said we caught him with a bad matchup. We caught him with bad personnel.
No. You just made a bad play calls. That's just all it is to it.
Yeah.
You can cover up by saying we caught him in bad matchups, but you made bad play calls.
Yeah.
Bottom line on those 4 straight downs. It just
4 straight downs.
I mean, like I was saying, the first play, if you wanted to run the ball, the first play I would have at least tried it was a quarterback sneak because that would have push. When a quarterback as tall as Mason, that would have given you at least half a yard.
Yes.
I would think that. I would take that over anything, or take the snap and go behind Skoronski and somebody or Raiders and let them push.
Mm-hmm.
But to line up in shotgun, you made it easy for the defense.
Oh yeah,
you made it easy for the defense because you can't even hide a run because they can see everything.
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing about it. And defensive coordinators and defensive players tell you that all the time. The best thing you can do for a defense, an opposing defense, is line up in shotgun.
Yep,
because they can see everything.
So easy.
And if you line up under the center, your options are wide open. you
Mhm.
could have probably got away with throwing the ball on first down and getting somebody open. But instead, with you being in shotgun, you made it easy for the defense. And that's the thing with Callahan. Yeah, I agree. His scheme is good. We've watched it and seen plays where if quarterback play was better or line play was better, you got a really efficient and good offense that can get people open. The problem you got is a lot of times you see Callahan's inexperience at calling games as an offensive coordinator come to the forefront. And it
Mhm.
comes to the forefront at the most inopportune times.
Yes.
Every
You know,
time.
and that's the thing about it. So somebody asked me, I think it was either Saturday or Friday, something they asked me, is Callahan gone? Is Rand gone? I said, no, they got another year. I said, but they got to show improvement either by the end of this year or definitely have a faster start than the beginning of next season. Because if they start off next season like this season, they won't make it through October.
Yeah. And and I know y'all heard this because they were, well, I don't know about you, G, because I know you was out at first. But they were comparing the Titans to the Lions. You heard that, J. Lou?
Yeah.
And how it was like week 14, they were 1-11-1, and they beat the Cardinals. And Coach Dan Campbell said that's when it started making
clicked.
sense.
Yeah.
It started making sense. They came back the next year, they went 7-9, I think it was.
Yeah.
Like
No. Is that the year? I think the next year they went 9-8 because that's the game.
That's right.
They won the game that didn't matter at the very end. And then the following year was what, the NFC Championship last year?
Yeah. And so, and I'm not saying that's going to happen this time, but like we said, the schemes on both sides of the ball are good. We see that. Just now we've got to get a quarterback and a right tackle, just to say the least, and an edge rusher that can dominate the game. And look, just for giggles, Arden Key today, how much havoc he caused. Just a few plays, right? Yes. So just imagine if you got somebody like that consistently causing issues on the edge. Now they open
you have the game plan.
That's right.
That's right. That's the whole problem. And again, my thing is one of the things I would say that's worked to Detroit's advantage. Like you said, when Dan Campbell saying they're starting to click. If you notice, they still have the same offensive coordinator and the same defensive coordinator that they had from the beginning. And that in itself helps out because, you're not changing things up year after year. So I think that's one thing about it. And then the question is going to be for us: can you keep your offensive and defensive coordinator?
Well,
yes.
Oh yeah, I was going to say offensive coordinator is just a name here.
Yes, but Denard, you got to look at him like, okay, you don't know if somebody else is going to try to snatch him up as a head coach or what, because he was on the list for head coaches last season when the season was over with.
Yeah. That's good wishful thinking, Darius. I don't know. Man. He said Project 11-6 here we come. If that happens, then it is what it is at that point. Nathan says the Lions scored more points than they ran plays. That is so true. 47 plays total.
That's true.
52
and
points.
They called off the dogs on you too.
They called off the dogs. Thank you. O-line, like I said, man, I thought the O-line played well today. Like you said, J. Lou, Mason had time to throw the football. Mm-hmm. I mean, he did.
He took shots down the field.
He did. Yeah. He did. Got the ball to Ridley, which, and again, the commentators, they're so funny. They was like, now, with D-Hop gone, all the receivers settling into those roles. I don't know. But all of a sudden, now they can get him the ball. And I'm not saying it's because of the trade. But I'm just saying, all of a sudden now he's getting out, he's running routes, he's open, he's catching the ball, and it's early in the game.
I 100% agree. I said the same thing.
How many balls got thrown Tyler Boyd's way?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Y'all forgetting the main important wide receiver. NWI. How many balls NWI got?
NWI. He did.
All he do is catch touchdowns and catch it when
he had 4 targets. He had 4 targets, right?
Tyler had
6. Yeah, Tyler had 6. NWI had 2. And I like so let's go back to that 4 plays down there inside the 5, and your first ball is to NWI on the fade route. On a fade route.
On a fade.
I'm not saying he can't jump, but he's not that explosive because you can see when he runs his routes, he's not really explosive.
No.
And so, I mean, Josh Riley, another tall target, Chig, he loses the fumble today, gets it punched out. It's just some weird thing. He misses Jaquan Jackson on the deep ball. And now, for the love of me, and y'all answer this question for me. why does Ridley run towards the safety on the long ball, and he could have just kept running straight, and he would score a touchdown?
So I really thought watching the game,
Tank.
I thought, yeah, of course, I thought that maybe the TV view didn't give you another extra person that he might have seen in front of him.
No.
Because I'm like, wait, if you just run straight, you
It's a
score.
touchdown. Yeah.
You score. So yeah, I think when he go back and watch film, that he was just trying to do a little too much, but it was good to see him get involved. Now, and again, this is where I'm gonna go back to our starting quarterback. All we kept hearing about was him and Will Levis can't form the chemistry, can't get timing, etc. You mean to tell me Mason Rudolph and him figured it out in one? Because this is the first week that Mason took first team reps. This is the first week he took them in practice, and you look like that. I just can't wait. I can't wait till Sunday when Ridley has 3 balls overthrown when Levis is back in the game.
When he's wide open.
When he's wide open.
And one of them gonna be for a deep shot.
Yep.
At least.
Yeah, it's just gonna be one of them things, man. It's gonna be interesting going forward. I mean, like I said, we saw maybe 2 wins for him going forward. New England winning today, you don't even know if you're gonna win that game. So
I mean,
you might get. You probably gonna get
to the last minute.
Yeah, you probably get like Jacoby Brissett next week, maybe, because what you call one out with concussion. Yeah. We know Jacoby can. That's gonna be a game. It's defense and field goal because both offenses won't do nothing. It's gonna come down to turnovers, and right now we lead the league in turnovers. Yeah, we're not creating not the one.
Not
I mean, and it just ain't bouncing away. You did create 2 fumbles today, I think, on golf, but both of them bounced right back to him.
Both of them bounced right back.
That's the whole thing about it. I mean, it's like everything else. One of the things you guys pointed out when you were texting back and forth, even the officials. This is what happens when you just are a losing team. Even officials will jack you up with bad spots and phantom calls.
Yeah, the holding call on Peter.
On Peter.
Like, I was like, he pushed him and let him go.
Yeah, he pushed him and he just failed.
Like, wow.
but that's what happens with losing teams in the NFL, especially. Calls just don't go your way. And and all they do is like they'll try to give you a makeup call the next game. The next crew, like, okay, we feel sorry for it. We'll give you this call. But, not that it helps you anything, but that's the bad thing about it. I mean, that just shows the cycle that you're in. And I would say today was the day you saw it just absolutely wear Callahan out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. In his post game, yes.
Yeah, the frustration was all on him. Yeah.
He's scraping the bottom of the barrel because he's like, we cannot get out of this cycle. Yeah. And it's driving him nuts. And getting blown out today with special teams and turnovers is really, you get 4 turnovers, but you don't get any.
Right. And here's the other problem is, so if you go back and you look at every game, I mean, every game was like 1 score for the most part, right? Yeah. Except for Buffalo, except for the game today. And it's always come down to a few plays. So, yeah, he's frustrated because he can't understand why they can't make those plays. And it's every week is another play that can't be made. Every week. It's every week.
A momentum killer or
something. A turnover, a sack, a missed tackle, missed interception,
or you score to get momentum, and your special teams gives up a long return.
Right. Right. I mean, it's every week.
They're losing games every which way you can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's very rare you see something happen like that for a football team. It is. How you get out of this cycle, I don't know, because it's just a weird thing. They just got to keep playing. Nathan, that's a great point. He said the penalty on Brownlee Jr. was something else. PI and a face mask.
Well, he got it all.
Yeah, he got a double dip. He got a 30-some yard penalty. One play. Like, good Lord Almighty. Offense is only averaging 17 points a game. It's just, man. It's just. I know. If it's that frustrating for him, just imagine what the players are saying in the locker room. I know they saying, they don't get on camera and really say, we saw Calvin really get, he went off the edge a lot a few weeks ago, but you hadn't heard much of that. And I'm just curious because you can see it on the field. especially on the defense
side of the ball, man. I'm telling you, just like literally the first interception when they let him score. If you look at their body language after, they was like, oh, "We just sat down. What are we doing?"
I mean, after a great 3 and out,
a great 3 and out.
I mean, and they, Goff hurts his ankle on that sack, and I'm like, okay, all right, here we are. We playing a little ball. Then you come back, you throw a pick. Right away. And man, I'm telling you, I understand. And not at that level, but when I played college, your defense is really good. We had a great defense when I played. And when you get off the field, you making plays like that, and you keep going 3 and out on your offensive side of the ball, man, that wears you out. That wears you out. So I'm telling you, rushing the passer a lot in the game and then having to stop the run, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. You taking, if you weigh close to 300 pounds or whatever, and then now you fighting against, was it 600 pounds? You going against 600 pounds every play?
Every play.
And you multiply that by 2 when you got 2 offensive linemen on you. And so now that's a tough day for anybody that plays in the trenches on both sides, man.
Yeah, they're going to figure out something, and in all honesty, no one has an answer right now. I could tell in Callahan's post game interview, he has no answer.
Yeah,
all he's saying is the same thing he's been saying. We got to find a way to get out of it, but he has no answers right now.
There's none at all, and I can't even. As I sit back and I was looking, I ain't gonna front on y'all. I stopped watching most of the second half because I just couldn't watch it. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. But there's something that I don't know. I can't call it because, like you say, you see that the scheme works. The players just aren't executing for whatever reason it is. And if you look at the schedule, this next game is probably the only one we got a real chance at winning because we got the Chargers on the road. After that, you got the Vikings. The Texans, the Commanders, man, it's ugly. It's ugly. And
the only thing you got to look forward to is maybe you don't know how big of a deficit you're gonna get beat by. That's the thing, because after the Patriots, everybody's capable of beating you by 30.
Yes.
So now the only caveat beside the Patriots is that we got sunshine on the radar twice.
Yeah.
So
you slip on one of them.
Yeah, you might slip up get one of them.
Yeah.
They're playing decent ball and their defense is actually pretty decent.
Yeah. But he's not. So
yeah, I was gonna say that's the one that you still.
But like all NFL quarterbacks, if you give him time, he's subject to have a good game.
Yeah, that's true. But right now, we catch him when he's not playing well. Maybe it'll work out. But anyway, it don't matter. 1 in 16 is Virgil said Austin Hooper will have a career day next week.
I forgot he's
Jacoby Brissett's gonna have a career day too.
He sure will.
Yeah, you're just like I said, you're just in that downward spiral, and you just ain't gonna find your way out of it. I don't know what it's gonna take to get out of it.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, I don't know.
I know what it takes. It takes you hoping that 2023 and 2024 drafts pan out, and that 2025 is good.
Yeah, you gotta get some more capital.
You have 20 through 22 drafts that were trash. You're paying for that now.
Oh yeah,
and I mean, when I say trash, I don't even want to look at the top end. Just look at these back ends.
Look at the results.
But the 4th, 5th, 6th rounders that would be your depth players. You don't have that, and that's the problem.
You don't have any.
So you've got to hope that. And right now, I mean, the silver lining, 23 looks okay. I mean, you took a chance to swing. Hey, your quarterback position to me is a lot better than the Colts. We used a 2nd round pick on Will Levis. They used the 1st rounder on a guy that I'm not sold on in Indy. And then everybody else in 23 is okay. And then 2024 so far looks decent, where they can be building blocks. You got to have the building blocks.
Got to tackle on both sides.
Yes.
Right. You got to tackle on both sides.
To have that foundation. So, and then let's just be honest, the elephant in the room, you've got to get a quarterback, whether you trust one of these ones coming out or you find a good stopgap into the follow. Oh my gosh, they called a Hail Mary. I'm sorry.
They did.
Washington.
The Commanders, yes, they won the game.
That's why you knock it down and not tip it up.
Oh my gosh.
And that was a heck of a throw. But you hope you can get somebody special like one of these two guys that was playing in that. But that's what this team is missing. And again, the one, and I'm not on the. I'm with you, G. Witt. I think again, I think it's a 1% chance that they could be fired because who knows what Amy, how she feels behind closed doors. But I think you give them another year to try to get another group in here and see. Because again, remember, this team is built where you could plug somebody in at quarterback and still move on. But I'm under the mindset too. If you're going to get rid of one, you've got to get rid of both, because I feel like you should reset. If you're going to reset, and I'm talking about reset, if you want to terminate, you go with a GM first and let him hire the coach. Because let's be honest, Rand inherited Vrabel and then did a coaching staff, and it was like that with John Robinson because he had Munchak the first year and whatnot. So I think if you're going, Malarkey. That's what I mean, Malarkey. So I think if you're looking to reset at the top like that, you bring both in at a clean slate if you do it. But again, I'm under the mindset I think they get another year.
They get another year. Like I said, they just got to. Again, it all depends on how they. I would say this: they get another year, and they get. I'm going to say a half a season next year, at best.
Yeah,
because they don't show improvement in September and October. By November, Amy's going to be looking for a new GM and a new head coach. I think, really the thing about them is, I would say as far as a quarterback, you have to draft a quarterback next year. You have to be scouring to find somebody who's out there who can run a pro-style offense. You
got some. There's some out there.
You got to find somebody who can. I'm serious. You got to find somebody who.
You got two of them out there,
and you go ahead and draft them, and you might end up letting go Rudolph and keep Levis and have him to start and have that rookie come in and learn behind him, so you don't have to rush him into the game. That's the only thing I think. I think really you're a quarterback away from having a pretty decent team.
So. Yeah, I don't know if we got the good model to have them sit behind the quarterbacks we got right now.
We don't have a good model.
And so, I'm not against a rookie player because,
that's all.
Well, so look at the rookies this year.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, and Stroud last year.
That's what I'm saying.
And so I'm not saying that they can't play, but I mean, now these guys coming out, if you got the right coach, like we said, we think we got, then he should have him ready to play, whoever that is.
Well,
right?
And again, I say if he beat, I'm saying like this: you bring him in under the mindset, but if he beats him out, he beats him out.
Yeah.
My whole thing, I always go back to what happened with the Chargers and Drew Brees when they Drew Brees was struggling, and then when they drafted Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees came back and said, "You're going to take my job." And balled out and got a good trade out of it. But my whole thing, really, in all honesty, is saying you draft somebody. He may be good. He may be good enough to start. And if that's the case, fine and good. But at least if you think he needs more development, you have somebody in front of him that you could actually start and get him to develop a little bit more. But you might, with the way these quarterbacks are playing right now for us, whoever you draft is probably going to end up starting anyway.
So that's my point right there. So Cam Moore, Shedeur Sanders, there's a couple right there that could play in a pro style that could be successful in the NFL under the right coach and under the right scheme. And it just depends on if they like it. Do they like them enough to draft them, or do they get that right tackle, right? And they go edge and they say, hey, we can trade for Jake Browning from the Bengals and have him come in and play and compete. It just depends on what they want to do, because there are some quarterbacks out there this year that can come in and I think could be successful under the right coaching. Now, it just depends on what's the bigger issue, the offensive line or the quarterback. Now, I said it. We've all said it time and time again. It don't matter who plays quarterback if you can't protect them.
Right.
It don't matter. So, and there's a bunch of right tackles out there. I know LSU's got a pair. Texas has got one. Georgia's got a pair. So there's a lot of tackles. The tackle class is going to be deep again in 25. It just depends on who you want to get and what you want to do.
Well, they're going to draft a tackle.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you want to do that with your first pick or not.
It's going to be whether it's going to be the first, second round, I would think. But they're going to definitely draft a tackle.
Yeah.
Unless they're sitting at number one, then they're gonna go for a quarterback.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It depends. Yeah. If you don't fall in love with, if they go one and they don't love any of the top quarterbacks, then that is a trade down to no. You can't go no further than 5.
No, you can't.
And you still load up and still get you a quality player. That would be my second scenario. My first scenario, I'm under the impression. I'm tired of getting recycled quarterbacks. We ain't
I
had a draft.
know.
We ain't had a good drafted one since Mac 9. Let's find us somebody to G Witt's point. You need your next quarterback's got to be the franchise face of this building that they
Gotta
building
be.
over there.
Gotta be.
And that's what you're looking for. So it is again, you just watch Shedeur Sanders.
So I know what you're gonna say. And you look at if you watch them play and the offensive line that he don't have.
Offensive line he ain't had since he been in college, and so I'm picturing him in our offense. This offense is a read and react kind of type offense, quick reads, etc. He does that. He's not a quarterback. A lot of times you bring these young quarterbacks in and you give them a read to the left side of the field. If it ain't there, then take off or whatever we got to do. It's what they like to do with a lot of these young guys we see. He can read the whole field right now, and has some good pocket awareness. You could see him fitting this offense, I would say, as of right now, for what Callahan wants. So that's an interesting one to continue to look on.
Yeah, and it's sad that we sitting talking about the draft.
I know in October.
In week 8.
You have no choice.
Yes.
You have no choice.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's just the bottom
So
line.
funny.
You have no choice. I mean, and pretty much like you said, when the trades were made, my thing was the D-Hop trade didn't bother me as much as the Ernest Jones trade did, because he fit well into the defense and everything, and I thought he was doing a great job. And then you trade him away. Granted, you get some good draft picks, and hopefully the linebacker you got can play well. But that hurts your defense right there. Because,
Well, you got to remember. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Baker, honestly, is who they wanted.
I know.
Because he pairs well with Murray. So that trade let me know too that you really just was looking at Ernest Jones as a 1-year rental. You had no intentions on signing him long term next year, which I agree with you. I thought he was a phenomenal player on the defense.
Yeah, and you picked up a player and a pick. So
a fourth round at that. Yeah.
You got a couple of picks out the deal. One for this year and one for next year. So I got no complaints about how Rand worked that. I got no complaints about that at all. And even not any complaints about the D-Hop trade. I got no complaints about that one either.
Yeah, no, I think we do need to think different, Eddie, and go with a more athletic quarterback that can throw in the pocket, that can get outside the pocket, that can run and do different things. Because if you look at the overall landscape of the NFL, most of the top quarterbacks are mobile.
Oh yeah.
Even Joe Burrow's mobile. You got to get a quarterback that can do the off-schedule plays, right? Can be able to do those type of things.
And again, you're not talking about when you say pro style, you're not talking about just a Tom Brady type.
No.
You're not talking about that, but you're talking about somebody who knows how to get rid of the ball quickly and knows how to manage the offense.
And how to read the defense.
And
Eddie, I know Eddie Gray. I know that you are the number one Malik Willis fan club member. I'm right there with you. He was Malik should have never been drafted here if you wasn't gonna give him time to develop. He's the type of quarterback that, and you saw it today. He came in and did his job. He was ready, and he looked so good. Like, so it irks me because what you see him doing is what we said. Hey, give him time. And when you drafted him in the 3rd round, hey, this is our quarterback to develop. We know it's a project, etc. What you didn't bank on was your offensive line flaming out like it did, which then in turn caused Tannehill to flame out more. And we're in a win now league where you don't want to give him time to develop. He's sitting there in Green Bay and he's gonna fool around and he'll take somebody's starting job in the league on his next contract because he started off here developing good with the coaching staff we got now, and then he's with one of the best up there in Green Bay. So literally watching him today, I was like, man, he looks even better than he did when he came down here and beat the Titans.
Comfortable. He's comfort, right?
Comfortable.
He got an offense that's catered to his needs, and he, like you said, he's in a bad spot where he had offensive coaches that until London came, that was the best coaching he had at quarterback coach.
Yep.
And so at that point though, it was like, but yeah, it's it's crazy, man. It's crazy that we see it every week. Somebody that used to be in the two-tone blue comes out and they have a great game against us.
Have an all-pro day. All-pro. Leaf Raymond had an all-pro day today.
Man, it's crazy.
And that's just the way it goes. I mean, But like I said, there's a dark cloud over this franchise, and I don't know when we're gonna get out of this storm. I'll be totally honest with you.
And it's not like it's that far away though. But we've got to get some more depth pieces. Right tackle, quarterback, edge. We got to have all those.
I'm telling you, man. I feel like I'm in that movie, The Perfect Storm, when they're trying to get out and they see a little break in the sunshine, and they all get hopeful, and then all of a sudden the clouds come back in, and George Clooney says she's not going to let us out, boys. And that's where we're at right now. We can see glimpses, but we're not getting out of this one.
Yeah. So, thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell G with J. Lou.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. The Patriots, man. That, like I said earlier, that'd be the last one that we'll get, maybe. So we'll see. Let's talk about that.
I see no lies.
Yeah,
I see no lies in what Eddie Gray put up there. I mean, you're being 100% clear that yes, Will Levis was anointed as the starting QB because of the Atlanta game and the Miami game of last year, and you brought no competition. You brought Mason Rudolph, and you were already sold on doing something different from Malik, where he could get out of this situation. I honestly think that was Rand's way and the coach's way of putting Malik in a better situation, because to Eddie's point, you had already put your eggs in one basket with the second round pick. But I didn't have no disagreement with that. You gave the keys to a quarterback who really hadn't proved nothing, and we're seeing it now. And that's why you're in the situation you're in. You built the team that could win now if you had your quarterback playing like you thought he would play, and he's not. And he technically has one win this year because he started the Miami game, but he hasn't won a game since Miami of last year.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it. It's crazy. Talk about that, man. That's crazy.
He ain't won a game since December of last year, and we're going to be in November.
And that's what? And how many the wins the Titans got since what? It's a stat I forgot. It was something about since 2022, the number or something. It was an absurd number about victories and points scored. Yeah,
like 6. I think it's 6.
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7, something like that. In 2 years. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and, let's say how many? We'd only won 3 games last year, if that.
6 last year. 6 and 11 last year. Yeah,
6 and 11 last year.
You was 7-10. You was
7-10.
Think about it. November 14th or something like that of 2022. We were 7-3.
Yep.
7-3. And it went downhill since.
Yeah. VY never had a chance because Fisher didn't want him. We know that whole story. And so it's just we'll see. We'll see about the quarterback position because, like I said, I think there's a couple of guys out there that would be nice, but we just have to see what the direction of the franchise wants to go. Yeah. But they need somebody that's going to be the face of the team, like you said, Jay Lou, both of y'all said, because you got a stadium sitting over there they're trying to build right now, and they got to fill those seats.
You got to fill them.
They ain't filling them for the rest of the season here. I know that much.
No.
Eric Garst, man, thank you for joining us. It just depends, man. He says, who going to take? We got the first pick. Who we going to take? It just depends on if they want quarterback or they want to tackle. Now there is a thought on here. Jay Lou mentioned earlier that if they don't like the quarterback class, they can trade down, but can't go lower than 5. Get you some draft capital and get you a tackle,
or
maybe an edge,
or you get you a Travis Hunter,
or you get you a Travis.
Depends on what you want.
Depends on what you want.
You get a game changer. Like
Travis
game changer
Hunter
is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, Travis Hunter is the best player.
It's a good call.
Football.
Yes,
whoever you think could be a game changer.
Game changer.
If he don't make it to the finals of the Heisman, it's a mockery.
It's
a
mockery.
He's pulling Charles Woodson. He's playing both sides of the ball.
And
he's not doing his special teams.
That's it. And he's even doing it better than Woodson. It is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. He locks down the whole side of the field.
That's what I'm saying.
His instincts are, you don't see this often from corner, especially in college. But his instincts where he can read and leave his man and jump the route on another route. I mean, That's pro style level right there. Yeah.
That shows me
So,
somebody who studies film, because that
yeah,
man, he's
he
reading
studies
everything.
film. Dion has done a good job. The
Yeah.
coaches have done a good job getting
Yeah.
him ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's the best player, then yeah, I definitely take Travis Hunter, and you match him up with Snead, and sky's the limit for that secondary.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see, man. It's like we just speculating right now because there's still a lot of football left to play.
Yes.
10
more games. 10
Man,
more
this
games.
is crazy. So let's see. Now that you got to talk, what does he play in the NFL? What does he play in the NFL? That's a great question, man. I don't.
That's gonna be the $1 million question the entire draft, the entire draft season.
Because he could do both very well. So I don't know.
I guess you have to look at him and see which one he does actually better. Which
like that is a toss up. That is
because that comeback route he ran.
Oh yeah,
did y'all see that? I was like, oh my, that was so nasty. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a great question though.
But I definitely could see him as a lockdown corner for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And I can see them spot using them on the offensive side of the ball. But
certain packages,
yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
definitely a shutdown corner though.
Because you got somebody that can stretch the field. He's got speed, and you just got to have a right tackle to protect him, and you got to have a quarterback to throw the ball. So there's the eggs. You juggle it, right? You try to figure out which ball am I going to catch first. Do you want the lockdown player? Do you want the best player in the draft? Yeah, you want to go best player available, right? That's what you normally do with your first pick, right? Mm-hmm. And then after that, you got to get somebody quarterback. You got to get some.
Well, you got because bottom line is there a game changer out there who could come in and immediately help your franchise?
Well, that's one right there.
That's the question.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There you go.
That's what you got to look at in this draft class. Is there a game changer out there? Because right now you really don't have one.
Yeah, Pollard is. Hey, Eric, and I appreciate you joining us, man. I don't know if you've seen the show before or not, but if you haven't, man, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for your comments. Pollard is as advertised, and we talked about him plenty. Is that thinking about the last 2 seasons he had with the Cowboys, he had over 1,000 yards. He had 50 receptions, and so 500 yards, so 15, close to 1,600 scrimmage yards. The guy can ball, and not to mention, he was top 3 in pass protection as a running back, if not number 1. I can't remember the last finish stat, but I know he was in the top 3. And so not only does he run the ball between the tackles great, he can catch the ball, but man, his blitz pickup is awesome. So
yes,
yeah.
You've seen that throughout the season.
Throughout the season. And I mean, he's tough. He runs through the tackles. And sometimes you don't even understand how he gets through that.
And he's good at breaking tackles as well.
He is good at breaking tackles. And Eddie says he feels bad for Rand. He put together a decent team and fell apart because of one person. He has. Yep. I mean, we all said on here that they were going to compete. And we did. I still thought they would as well. And even you could tell just look at, like I said earlier, look at the losses that we've had. There hadn't been blowouts except for the last 2 weeks.
That's it.
The Green Bay game. The Green Bay.
And the Green Bay one, yeah.
Green Bay.
But like you said, you think about it. The first game, you win if it wasn't for a dumb play.
Several dumb plays. Dumb play. Right.
Second game, you have momentum, and then you lose that on a dumb play. And that's all you look at them as. They'll just play flat out dumb football plays. So
doing too much.
And that's the thing you run into. And I don't know.
I
will say this though, that Hail Mary by Washington was off the chain.
Little J. Lou joined the show tonight, man. What's going on, Little J. Lou? Tighten up, baby. Yeah, tighten up. Got his Titan shirt on. Again, thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Halftime with Justice. Eddie on there, G with Little J. Lou and Big J. Lou in the building. Join us next week, man. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Patriots and see what else is going on. Sue's going to be left. J. Lou, anybody else going to be moved this week, in your opinion? We didn't see Honor. We didn't see him do anything.
Honor lock this week. If not this week, I think after the game Sunday, because the thing is the 5th or 7th, the 5th. Yeah. I think it's, but I think when them edges, I think I personally think the person we saw ball out today is probably next.
Okay. We'll see, man. You never know who's gonna be left on the roster.
Right.
And he's playing like he played today like he thought he was gonna be next.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right. He did. But yeah, thank y'all for joining us, man. Check us out next week. Look out for the time and the info for the show. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Give a thumbs up to this last episode, man. Appreciate y'all supporting the show. J. Lou, G Wit, Lil J. Lou, man. What's up, Lil J. Lou? Tighten up, baby. That's right, man. That's right. Tighten up, baby.
That's right, baby.
We'll see y'all next week.